Hi there, welcome to the demand forecasting basics lessons. This lesson is going to be the foundation for all the lessons what we are going to discuss in the future. These are the preliminary topics, since this happens to be a foundation and basic concepts. Without this, you can't understand in the future lessons what we are going to discuss. We are still discussing it. Let us go ahead with the definition of demand forecasting. So what is demand forecasting? Is basically a combination of two words, demand and forecast. What is demand? Demand is nothing but outside requirement of a product or services. That is what is demand. What is forecasting? Forecasting is basically making an estimate of the future occurring event based upon the historical data or the experiences what we have. So what is demand forecasting? Demand forecasting is basically making a future estimate of the demand being in the present. Now let us discuss the types of forecasting. So basically there are two types of forecasting. One is qualitative forecasting and second is quantitative forecasting. Now the qualitative forecasting is the one when you don't have any historical data of any product and then you want to forecast it without using any historical data or statistical analysis. You are forecasting it. These are the cases when you are launching a new product or a new version of a product or a product launching into different location. You don't have any historical data for it, then you launch the product based upon the experience, based upon the experts in that domain, understanding, getting the domain knowledge based upon which you want to forecast. So that is basically qualitative forecasting. Now second is the quantitative forecasting. This is the case where you want to use the maths, you want to use statistics on the historical data. So this is only applicable when you have the historical data points, and by using them you want to extrapolate it for the future using your maths, your tools, or your statistics. That is basically the quantitative forecasting. At the end, let us discuss the different components of forecasting or forecast. So first is the trend. So what is trend? When there is a long term increase or decrease, you can call it as a trend. So here you see in long term this particular demand is increasing. So this is an increasing trend. Had it been like this, so this would have been a decreasing trend. So that is trend. Second, it's seasonal pattern. So what is seasonal pattern? If you see any repetitive pattern in time series for a particular month, time of the year, or day of the week, or particular time of the day, that is called a seasonal pattern. So here see this one. So here we have a seasonal pattern. So every alternative months or every quarter we are having a peak. So that is called a seasonal pattern. For example, ice cream sales see seasonally high demand in summer. Similarly, the air conditioner fridges may have a lot of sales in that period. So that is the season seasonal pattern which they see. Similarly, uh, maybe a hotel sees a lot of customers coming to eat on weekends. So that's their seasonality on the weekends. Or they may see a high uh, demand at the at late nights. That can be seasonality for them. So that's basically seasonality, a repetitive pattern observed on a particular uh, time point. Third is cyclic. So cyclic is the one when the rise and falls exhibit by the data are not on fixed frequency. So these are basically because of economic conditions, and it is said that it repeats by every third cycle. This is also called as business cycle. So this is other than seasonality, which you can't refer it or define it as seasonality. It's not happening on a fixed time frame like seasonal demand. The cyclic is something different. So here you can see, we can see the peaks and valleys, but they are on different time periods. You can't see that they are falling, or you can't predict them as such, because they are not falling on the fixed time period. Last graph you can also see a pattern in which the trend and seasonality both are there. combining this one. There is also a fourth component which is which is called as level. So which is nothing but an average sales. So for this line, if you see, the average sale is going to be this. And that is the level of the forecast. So if the trend is also defined as the change in level, the increase in decrease in the level of the demand. So yeah, that's it. These are the basic components. So a forecast is all the time combination of all these three, and other than that there is also a component called as noise. So anything which can't be defined, which is random, so here you see random components which you can't be which can't be classified as a trend, seasonality, cyclic, is nothing but a noise or random data or randomness of the data. So yeah, that's it into this components of forecasting. Thank you, and have a nice day ahead.